Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Tuesday, October 15. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Government outlines plans to provide hundreds of housing solutions for Barbadians in the lower income bracket. Word of this from Minister in the Ministry of Housing, Lands and Rural Development, Charles Griffith. He made the revelation as he led off debate in the lower house this morning on a resolution to vest the land at Indian Ground, St. Peter, to the National Housing Corporation.
We're talking absolute low-cost housing. And we have been mandated, so to speak, and we ourselves have embraced the challenge of by April next year, at least starting 500 solutions across the country. And Mr. Speaker, it would be remiss of me not to want some of that housing to visit the constituency of St. John. And I am pushing hard from my perch to ensure that housing also visits St. John. You know, the reality is that we have seen private sector have jumped ahead, and there's one housing development that is ongoing that is purporting to put at least 1,000 or so housing solutions on the market. The onus is on government to ensure that we provide that low-cost housing for persons. We are grappling with several different areas. We have the settlement at Rock Hall, and we have persons that are pushing back. But again, Mr. Speaker, we cannot push social inclusion and at the same time embrace social exclusion.
The minister also disclosed that efforts are on the way to pump what he says is a stream of badly needed income into the coffers of the NHC by selling or leasing of abandoned government properties. Griffith told parliamentarians that the lands at Indian Ground, comprising of the former primary school, is earmarked for the Seventh-day Adventist Church at a price tag of $400,000. He says the money will be used to repair hundreds of wells at the 49 government estates across the country, including the Pine St. Michael.
These are funds that are badly needed by the National Housing Corporation to trigger our program. And in particular, if you look at the wells program, Mr. Speaker, I know this would have generated a whole set of talk at national level, but I'm pleased today to report that repairs on those particular programs, Mr. Speaker, are actually happening as I speak to you. We have started work at Deacons, we have started work at Haynesville, and provisions are being made to start work in the Pinelands this week. And it's only because of a few technical problems that we have not yet started the repairs in the Pine. The surveying and electrical upgrade is also something that this money from this particular resolution and some of the others that I have identified will be used also to assist in us dealing with those particular electrical upgrades and the surveying upgrades.
In his contribution to the debate, opposition leader Bishop Joseph Avali threw his support behind the resolution. However, he says it was sad that a tragedy had to occur to seemingly goad the government into action on the wells situation.
There seems to be a fresh urgency and priority being given to this matter of the wells program in housing developments under the auspices of the NHC in Barbados. I didn't say anything at the time of the incident of recent day in the Pine because I thought I should very well respect the sentiments and the feelings and the period of grief and bereavement which would have descended upon the family of that young man that lost his life in the Pine. So I didn't comment at the time. But it is sad to know that it would take a tragic incident like that to goad the government seemingly into urgency about the matter of addressing the well situation in NHC developments in Barbados.
Changes are being made to the governance structure of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Speaking in Parliament today on the Queen Elizabeth Hospital Amendment Bill 2019, Health Minister Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic revealed the establishment of the post of Executive Chairman, Chief Operations Officer and Executive Director of Clinical and Diagnostic Services. And though he did not call her by name, Juliet Bino Sutherland has been proposed as the one to occupy the new post of Executive Chairman.
Let me tell you why this Minister of Health made the recommendation, not based on any affiliations of any kind. It was based on the quality of the person that I saw. We have a chair of the board that is a qualified attorney at law. A person with a Master's of Science with distinction in health planning, health policy, health finance, from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, along with the London School of Economics. A person with over 20 years experience in direct program management in health systems and health services. A person who spent 5 years in the Ministry of Health and Wellness as a health planner.
He says the amendment was made due to what he described as an exodus of some of the hospital's executive directors as well as members of their ranks. This, he says, has put management under tremendous pressure.
In order to strengthen management at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, we have to act quickly. And I want to say why we have to act quickly. Because there are some systemic failures at the hospital. Within the last 2 or 3 months, we've had some overwhelming situations with staff. There are some anxieties among patients and so on, accident and emergency. And we have to move swiftly but confidently to be able to fix those issues. And so the decision has been taken to create the post of Executive Chairman. And this is nothing new, not only here in Barbados. It was done with the Barbados Water Authority, although it was against the law and there was no attempt to amend the act back then. But we're doing it the right way.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
To news from our regional neighbors now, the main opposition United Workers' Party says it has completed its slate of candidates to contest the next general election in Dominica. In fact, the UWP said in a statement that it was equipped to win and prepared to begin serving as a majority party in the government of the country tomorrow, if it had to. The statement comes mere days after Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit announced that a poll would be held within the next 100 days. In the last general election, held in December 2014, Skerrit led his ruling Dominica Labour Party to a 15-6 victory over the UWP, led by Lennox Linton. And on the international scene, the International Monetary Fund's latest World Economic Outlook sees the global economy in a synchronized slowdown and weakened by rising trade barriers and increasing geopolitical tensions. The fund's chief economist, Gita Gopinath, gave the prediction at Tuesday's launch of the Outlook in Washington.
The global outlook remains precarious with a synchronized slowdown and an uncertain recovery. At 3% growth, there is no room for policy mistakes and an urgent need for policymakers to support growth. The global trading system needs to be improved, not abandoned, and countries need to work together because multilateralism remains the only solution to tackling major issues, such as risks from climate change, cybersecurity risks, tax avoidance and tax evasion, and the opportunities and challenges of emerging financial technologies. To fend off other risks to growth and to raise potential output, economic policy should support activity in a more balanced manner. Monetary policy cannot be the only game in town. It should be coupled with fiscal support where fiscal space is available and fiscal policy is already not too expansionary.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.tv. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.